time, guys. MariK here, back with another Dragon Ball Super video. Today we've got new reveals for the Draft Box Series 6, courtesy of one of our loyal subscribers. And I thought we'd go ahead and do a video on it. Go ahead and check out the new sauce that we'll be getting in Draft Box 6. So first up, we got Master Roshi, Potential Unleashed. He's going to be a new Unison in Draft Box 6. This auto says, if your leader card is red and your opponent's life is at 5 or more, when this card is played, deal 1 damage to your opponent. So he's going to come in, do some good burn damage. Activate main for +1 counter. Says, this card gets plus 5,000 power for the turn. -4. Activate main says this card gets plus 15,000 power and double strike for the turn. Not terrible. Gives him a good beefy power boost, 30,000 double strike. And you can do a little bit of burn damage when he gets played. Maybe red burn is coming back. Is burn still enough to be an actual archetype? I just don't know yet. Then we got Son Goku, off to defeat King Piccolo. It's a super rare, 5 cost, 25,000 with deflect and triple strike. This permanent says, if your leader card is red, your opponent can't activate blocker skills in response to this card's attack. If your leader card is red, when this card is played, choose all of your opponent's battle cards. They get minus 20,000 power for the turn. Then choose up to one of your red unison cards and add a marker to it. So, really not bad ability at all. You can't block the attack. You can't stop his play. Now, it's just triple attack and not triple strike. So, he's going to attack you 3 times, but at least he's not going to, beat your absolute face in. And all of your opponent's battle cards get minus 20,000. That is a board wipe right there. Then we've got Son Goku, Nimbus Master. He's a 3 cost, 15,000 power. Auto says, if it's your opponent's turn, at the end of a battle, where this card is used in a combo, play up to 1 skillless battle card with energy cost of 2 or less from your deck or drop area. Shuffle your deck if you look through it. And you can't activate the auto skills on copies of this card for the turn. So you combo it for 1 energy, 10,000 combo power. And then you can play a free vanilla 20k battle card. Activate main says, for 1 energy, send 1 skillless battle card from your drop area to your warp. Play this card from your hand. So, you can... I don't know why you'd want to play him from your hand, because you have to combo him in order to be able to get his ability to play a skillless card at the end of a battle where this card is used in a combo. So you'd have to combo him anyway, so you couldn't play him and then attack with him. I mean, I guess it does give you an extra option to play him and attack with him, but I don't know. I don't feel like that is really... I don't know that I would do both of those. I like the combo to, bring out a skillless card, but playing it on the board just kind of seems like a waste. Then we've got Bulma, a Heartfelt Wish. She's a 1 cost, 1,000 with blocker. When this card activates its blocker skill, choose up to one of your opponent's leader cards or battle cards. It gets minus 5,000 power for the turn. Well, that sure as hell is not going to protect herself, but it might help protect your leader from taking damage or one of your other battle cards from getting KO'd. Next, we've got Yamcha, Eye for an Eye. He's a 4 cost, 20,000 with double strike. When this card attacks, choose up to 1 mono-red battle card with an energy cost of 2 or less in your hand and play it. Now that's pretty cool. So, every time he attacks, you get to play a mono-red 2 or less. And that doesn't specify it has to be skillless, so there are actually some fairly decent 2-drop red cards that you can play with this ability. I actually kind of really like this Yamcha. If you can get him out sooner than, turn 4, that'd be even better, but you just got to keep him alive in between super combos, counterattacks, and hell, you could run the Deluge of Power if you wanted extra protection to keep him alive, but I like this Yamcha card for sure. The art, on the other hand, not so much. Then we've got Tian Shinhan, Eye for an Eye. He's a 5 cost, 25,000 with critical and dual attack. When this card is played, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards. It gets minus 25,000 power for the turn. This is kind of starting to feel like set 9 red all over again. Dual attack crit, though, that's some good damage right there. But of course, being a 5-cost card, kind of deserves it. Then we've got these 3 here. Master Shen, Master Roshi, and Mutaito. Each of them being a 1 cost 10,000, 2 cost 20,000, 3 cost 30,000. For those
skillless decks, or, you know, you can play Master Roshi with that Yamcha or with the other card too, and it's I mean, they're battle cards. That's it. They're just big vanilla beaters. Then we've got Kami, Lord of the Lookout. He's a 1-cost 4,000. Auto says, if your leader card is red, when this card is played, choose one. Either draw one card or choose up to one of your red Unison cards and add a marker to it. So, adding a marker to Unison cards is a pretty big deal. Adding only one marker, it doesn't seem significant a lot of the time. However, in hindsight, it really is, especially for some of those that don't get markers as fast, or the ones that, you know, they say, you know, +2, do this, and then you play this and you get 3. That's pretty solid. I mean, you could draw an extra card, but depending on what Unison you're using and how vital they are to your win con, I like this card. I feel it's pretty good. Thankfully, cards like this only cost one energy to add an extra marker to a Unison, because I feel like any more than that wouldn't be worth it. Then we've got Pilaf, King Piccolo's underling. He's a 2-cost 15,000. His permanent says, if your leader card is red, this card can attack battle cards in active mode. So, I don't really see that being a good main deck card. Maybe a side deck card for cards that have barrier or whatever that you just can't get around. Up next, we have Shu, King Piccolo's underling. He's a 1-cost 5,000 power with counterplay. If your leader card is red, play this card, and if the battle card being played has 5,000 power or less, it is placed in its owner's drop area instead of being played. So, if they have any 1-cost cards that they play that have, like, an on-play auto or something like that, similar to that, that Kami, those abilities are not going to activate. And then you've got, you know, Shu here for an extra 5,000 combo power. It's not terrible, but I mean, how many cards have 5,000 power that get played on, you know, on average? Then we have Mai, King Piccolo's underling. She's a 1-cost 4,000 with barrier. When this card is played, draw one card. Auto, once per turn, when your opponent switches their energy to active mode using a counter skill, place up to one card in your opponent's life and one card in your opponent's energy in the drop area. So, Bandai's back on their silver bullet game, it seems. I don't think this is a card we need. However, the only thing this really, since it specifies a counter skill, I feel like this kind of shits on Blue Baby. Other than that, I mean, it hits Dimension Magic, it hits Whis' Coercion. So, it would suck against, you know, like, really, it would be just a nuisance against any blue deck, but against the baby blue deck, this card is a goddamn nightmare. Then we've got King Piccolo, 5 seconds to Eradication. He's a 4-cost 20,000 with Deflect, Double Strike, and Barrier. You're not targeting him for shit, you're not countering him for shit. His permanent says, if your leader card is red, your opponent can't activate blocker skills in response to this card's attack. Auto, once per turn, if your leader card is red, when this card attacks, choose up to one of your red Unison cards, add a marker to it. That's pretty solid, especially considering how much defense is added into this card. And then add one card from your life to your hand. When this card's attack is negated, deal 1 damage to your opponent. Jeez. So, they can't activate blocker. If they negate the attack, they're still taking 1 damage anyways. And you're adding markers to your Unison cards. This card's pretty solid. I like it. And honestly, if we're getting new King Piccolo support, I was actually talking to some of you guys the other day about getting some new King Piccolo cards, and I think I have a pretty good idea of a King Piccolo deck I want to work on now. Then we have King Piccolo, Yearning for Youth. He's a 1-cost 4,000. Auto says, when this card is played, draw one card. And his activate main says, once per turn for 2 red energy. If your leader card is red, this card gets plus 11,000 power and critical for the turn. And if your opponent's life is 5 or more, deal 1 damage to them. So, so you can get 2 good damage in and crit one of those cards away. That's pretty solid. I like that card. And if you were to, granted you'd have to dump 3 energy to do it, but slap on a double strike, woo, That would be pretty fun. Next up, we've got Tambourine, Demon Clan Warrior. He's a 2-cost, 15,000 with unique and critical. If your leader card is red and you choose one card in your hand other than this card and discard it, when your opponent takes damage from a skill on one of your battle cards or unison cards, play this card from your hand. So, okay, cool. So with all the damage inflicting abilities, you would trigger this, and then you would play him, and he's a free critical attacker. Then we've got Piano, Demon Clan Warrior. He's a 2-cost, 15,000 as well, with unique and barrier. If your leader card is red and you choose one card in your hand other than this card and discard it, when your opponent takes damage from a skill on one of your battle cards or unison cards, play this card from your hand. Okay, so same thing, but all he has is barrier. So unless there's a support card that, you know, requires you to have so many Demon Clan on the board, this one just kind of seems overall pretty useless. Then we've got Symbol, Demon Clan Warrior. He's a 2-cost 15 with unique and blocker. Looks like he's got the same ability, so it'd be a free blocker you could play. So ideally, it looks like this is more or less just going to give you a lot of cards you can dump on the board pretty quickly. As soon as you deal some damage and doing some good, you know, some good combo shenanigans with the burn abilities. It's a shame that the leader card has to be red, because I had an idea for half a second where I could abuse the shit out of this, but, you know, it is what it is. Then we have Drum, Demon Clan Warrior, 2-cost 15, unique, and double strike. Same ability to be able to play him from your hand, so you've got critical, barrier, blocker, double strike. So you got 2 good attackers, you got the barrier guy that can be an attacker, or just a combo, and then you've got the blocker to be able to intercept attacks. You can only have one of each on the board. I wonder if there's a card, there'll be a card that's like, give you like a good ability if you have one of each on the board. Doubtful, but it'd be interesting. Then we have Piccolo Jr., the King's Return. He's a 2-cost, 15,000. Auto says, when this card is played, choose up to one of your other red battle cards that gets plus 5,000 power and double strike for the turn. So, you play him, 5,000 boost and double strike. A little bit more of an expensive Champa for less power increase. Activate main for 1 red if your leader card is red, and you discard this card from your hand. If your opponent's life is at 6 or more, deal 1 damage to them. So, that's, I mean, that's still not bad either, but I feel like if I was going to use 1 red energy, I mean, granted, it's, you know, free burn damage to trigger all your shit, which is great. I just feel like if I wanted to do some, you know, some good damage to my opponent for 1 red energy, I'd rather play, like, the 1-drop crit Trunks. And granted, I understand that won't trigger any of the abilities, but if you're just dealing 1 damage, like, this is still fine. I just hate that when you deal damage like that, it gives the card to your opponent, and I'm a big fan of critical. Then we have Strength through Survival. It's a 1-cost extra card. Activate main says, if your leader card is red, draw 1 card, then choose one of your red cards, and your opponent can activate blocker skills in response to that card's attack for the turn. So, now I wonder if, I'm guessing, because it says, it only specifies the card's attack, singular, but it also specifies for the turn. So if a card has, like that Goku that has triple attack, if you play this, I'm assuming that means they can't activate blocker in response to all 3 of that card's attacks. I'm sure that's the way it is, and it's just kind of the particular wording on this card, but not bad at all. It just makes me wonder, how many blockers are we going to be getting in Draft Box 6? Jeez. Then we have the Final Blow. It's a 1-cost extra card. Activate main/battle. If your leader card is red, you may choose one of your mono red battle cards, negate its non-keyword skills for the turn, and give it minus 25,000 power for the turn. If you do, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards, and it gets minus 25,000 power for the turn. So, you play it, kill one of your dudes, kill one of your opponent's dudes. I mean, I guess it's not terrible if you have, like, something you don't give a shit about. Like, oh, I don't know, Piano! He's got barrier, but it doesn't protect him from your cards, so he would serve as a willing sacrifice. Then we've got Tian Shinhan's Mafuba. It's a 1-cost counter-attack card. If your leader card is red, negate the attack, then choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards or unison cards. It gets minus 5,000 power for the turn. So, a lot of cards don't specify unison cards in their abilities. This is the first one off the top of my head I can think of that specifically says give a unison card a power reduction. So that's pretty cool, and that would make it so that that unison card would be a lot easier to deal more damage to, get markers off of, and possibly even just get it off the board. Then we have wow. Let's use our words. Piccolo Jr., Eradicator of Peace. He's a 2-cost, 16,000 power, with double strike, and Alliance red-green. If your leader card is red, this card gains power equal to the total power of the cards switched to rest mode by this skill for the battle. Draw 2 cards, and if your opponent has 3 or more life, deal 1 damage to them. Wow, so this card here could be a really solid finisher. Because it specifies 3 or more life, so if they're at 3 life, deal 1 damage to them. They're down to 2. He's got double strike. He gains the power boost. If you can get that attack through and they don't counter it, just dump your entire hand and just combo everything and then bam, dead. I like that. And even better. Nope, I'm not going to say it. Not going to say it yet. We'll save that for another video. Then we have Korin, the Cat Sage. He's a 2-cost, 16,000 power. Says, choose 1 card in your hand and discard it. When this card is played, choose 1. Play up to 1 skillless battle card with energy cost of 2 or less from your drop area. Or choose up to 1 red or green battle card with energy cost of 1 in your hand. Play it. It gets plus 10,000 power for the turn. I mean, extra 10,000 powers, it's not bad. And you'd be playing but you play a 1-drop. Like, you could just play it for 1 energy. Unless that 10,000 power is enough to make a difference in that particular situation, but you also have to discard a card. Or you can play a skillless battle card 2 or less from your drop area, which gets you a free battle card and then him. And, I mean, it's not terrible, I guess. It's just a little bit more niche than some of the other cards that we have seen so far. Then we have Kakarot, Fate's Dawning. He's a 2-cost, 16,000 power. Choose 1 card in your hand and discard it. When this card is played, play up to 1 skillless battle card at energy cost 2 or less. Draw 1 card, then choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards, and it gets minus 5,000 power for the turn. So, this one works a little bit different. They both allow you to play a 2-drop from your drop area, but then this one draws you a card to mitigate the card you discard, and you give a card minus 5,000 instead of playing a 1-drop. I like that better, but again, this is a card that it's going to be useful in specific situations and not really something that I see myself using personally. Then we have Final Heat Phalanx. I don't know. It's a badass looking card with Bardock on it. It's a 4-cost red-blue counterplay. It says if your leader card is blue, choose up to 1 of your leader cards or battle cards. It gets plus 5,000 power for the turn. And if the battle card being played has an energy cost of 6 or less, it's placed at the bottom of its owner's deck instead. That is an absolutely insane card, and Invoker is going to eat the shit out of this card. Sadly, I don't play Invoker, so while this is an amazing looking Bardock card and probably looks even better with foil, I'm never going to get to use it. But that's going to go ahead and wrap up this video here. There was a lot of stuff to go over, and honestly, for the first time, I'm kind of excited for Dragon Ball stuff, because Dragon Ball is a series I didn't particularly care for compared to Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball GT, and Dragon Ball Super. But King Piccolo I really like, and I'm happy to see we're getting more King Piccolo stuff. And I've already been working on some King Piccolo builds, and this new support will go in very nicely with that stuff. I want to give a big shout out to my supporters for sending me this card info again so we can do this video. You guys are kick-ass, and you guys are what keep this channel going strong. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below about this new red stuff for Draft Box 6. Is there anything you're particularly excited for? Is there any big significances to any of these cards that we missed? I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. With that, we're going to go ahead and get the frig out of here, and we'll see you guys in the next video.